Today, we'll discover a step-by-step approach to maintaining accurate data to help you communicate to the right customer at the right time. So just a bit of an agenda for us. We'll look at some real-world impacts, being a video and a case study, and then we'll look into the cost of bad data and how does it get into your systems. We'll then break for a demo and have a look at some of the Intech IQ Office products that can help you with this. And we'll talk a little bit about what to do next, and then talk about the case for quality tools. And then we'll open it up to a question and answer with the panel. And I'll be joined by Daniel, our delivery services manager. So we're just going to transition now to a video.
All new this morning, a major mix-up in Dallas. You're looking at what's left of a 1920s home that was demolished by mistake.
That's a big oops. This is in the 5500 block of Richard Avenue in the Vickery Place neighborhood near Lower Greenville.
Jennifer Lindgren is there. So, Jen, how does something like this happen?
Yeah, Karen, that's what the owner of this property wants to know. He had plans to fix up this 97-year-old home. Now you can see it's just a pile of wood. Jeremy Winninger says he was shocked when he got the phone call that a demolition crew was knocking down what neighbors knew as the Pink House. Winninger lives in California, but he is from Dallas, and the home was left to him by the woman who used to live here, who passed away 3 years ago. He says he felt helpless when he learned the demolition crew, slated to tear down another home on Richard Avenue, had the wrong address.
So the question there is, how does something like this happen? And we'll try to address some of that through today's presentation. But first, I'd like to have a look at a case study from New Zealand. And in this situation, what was happening is that police would be out in the field at the scene of an incident. Police would capture an address. They may do that incorrectly. The ticket is then sent to an address. The police then assume that the person has now been served and liable. And if you don't pay that infringement notice immediately, obviously it starts incurring penalties. You'll eventually be pulled up in front of a magistrate, and they'll start asking you why you're not paying this. So it was contested, and using our words, the collecting of bad data was not a reason to punish people. And what was then agreed was that incorrectly addressed infringement notices could no longer accrue fines and penalties if you could show that it was sent to the wrong address. So that was a good outcome for the citizens of New Zealand, and also probably relief to the public relations of the New Zealand police. So you can see how simple thing like that can start causing a lot of anguish and angst and real world problems for people from bad data. Okay, let's move on to a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. I've been in the industry for quite a while, and it never surprises me the number of ways people and systems manage to get their data mucked up. From a data entry typo due to bad posture or ergonomics, and I've seen this in payroll errors occurring. I've seen debt collectors going after the wrong person, all because of incorrect data. So today, we'll look at a step-by-step approach to maintaining accurate data to help you communicate to the right people at the right time. So what we'll be looking at today is the business impact of bad data, inaccurate data, and how the data quality affects your data assets. So what data is relevant, how data affects your business, how data quality affects your decisions, and how bad data happens. We'll also be looking at the quality of data, how maintaining data quality can benefit your business, improving customer satisfaction, increasing revenues, improving productivity, and reducing costs, and building trust, better client relations, happy customers. We'll also be looking at how can you improve the quality of your data assets by using data validation and stop the problem at its source. And most importantly, integrating with your current systems. So the type of data that we've been talking about today and working with is entity information. Data that identifies the individual or business, and you have an obligation to get it right under the Privacy Act. Names, spellings, nicknames, gender, all can be derived from the data. Getting the basics right, like an address, this drives all types of other processes. If you're a telco or internet provider, can we service that area? What types of products can we provide to that individual at that location? If you're in the social services, is this person in the catchment area of our partners or programs? And if you're in e-commerce, can we deliver to that area? And what's the expectations we should set? Again, contact details like phone, emails, again, all basic stuff. If you're capturing date of birth, if you get this right, all sorts of information can be derived. If you get it wrong, you can burn your relationship with age and appropriate messages. And custom fields, unique to you and your industry, can be validated or rules embedded to ensure the structure and compliance. So bad data is hard to find and clean up. People aren't that good at changing old habits, so you need technology to help. Typos, misspellings, and just lazy data entry are all part of the challenge. Once incorrect data is in the system, it can spread to other systems. And a sobering comment from one of our customers was, data quality is a problem for us. And the interesting thing is that the only way an organization sees it is when people leave from frustration. We've had 5 heads of business intelligence team leave in less than 2 years, and they left simply because they couldn't do the job they were employed to do and spent most of their time trying to fix the data issues. So this is costing us lots. And that's the biggest problem, is trying to recognize that you actually have this problem. So again, back to the video, how did this happen? Bad data. So bad data is entered by your employees, which is probably what happened to that house. Typos, missing information, just filling in fields with junk so you can move on. Issues emerge during the data migration and conversion process. You get duplication, data mapping issues, transformation of data. And there's also the natural decay of databases over a year, anywhere up to 25%. Multiple data sources, inconsistent data, name, spelling, nicknames, maiden names is a real big one, and various addresses, etc. Changes to the source systems and it's wrong. This will then spread to other subsystems. If accounts or billing gets the wrong shipping address, and it may feed back into the CRM and the data warehouse. An interesting fact is that 82% of organizations believe that their data is better than it actually is. So if data is the new oil, as everyone says, we're wasting about half of what we have due to poor practices. According to Gartner, the average financial impact of poor data quality on a large organization is anywhere up to $10 million a year. Sales staff, they can waste anywhere up to 27% of their time fixing and dealing with bad data. Forrester states that 1/3 of analysts can spend up to 40% of their time validating data before they can use it. And data scientists, they can spend anywhere between 50 and 80% of their time doing what they call data wrangling. That is, doing mundane, laborious task of collecting and preparing unruly data. So how much is this costing your organization? Think of it. We took back to the sales staff, 20% of their time, and analysts, 40% of their time, and up to 80% of a data scientist. And just think about the pay rates that you're paying for these skilled laborers. So I'm just going to list these other impacts. It'll hinder business initiatives, negatively affects customer experience. It has a lack of trust in the data. Poor data leads to poor decisions. And you might have a look at some of the things going on with NASA. An actual failure due to wrong data. I think NASA's lost a few machines due to that. And the increased cost of compliance. And again, an interesting fact is the net impact is 25 to 30% of lost revenue due to bad data. So the cost of fixing data and the delay in fixing poor data quality has on your organization. And I think it's easy just to remember these numbers. $1 now to prevent the bad data getting into your system, $10 before it hurts, and $100 after the damage is done. And remember the stats of the sales staff and your analysts and your data scientists. All can be controlled just by doing a bit of preventative work. So today, we're going to be looking at ways of breaking that bad data process with IQ Office, and we're going to now transition to a little bit of a demonstration. So this is a screen you'll find on our website. And I encourage you to go there. You just need to offer up a non-Gmail or Hotmail address, create your own password, and you can get access. There's a range of demos there. This is the Geocoding Demo. And what we're going to be looking at today is using the Australian Geocoded National Address File to geocode our office address. And that's level 7. And I'll put some noise in. Beware of the dog. 35 Spring Street, Bondi Junction, New South Wales 2022. So I'll let that catch up. And you'll see at the bottom of that screen a window that will do some predictive text. It'll find, oh, there it is. It's found our address. It's filtered out the noise, and that could be dear so-and-so, could be instructions for delivery. All sorts of things can get into addresses, as you're aware. And the software will parse that out and allow a match to happen with the clean data. We'll then standardize it, validate it. Once it's validated, which we can do now, the other information that we can enhance that address with, in this instance anyway, is longitude and latitude. We'll bring back some statistical boundaries plotted on a map. We can also look at administration boundaries, and those all come from the Australian Bureau of Statistics. So let's just focus in on the SA1. This is a statistical area. If we press the Find button on the SA1, that will then populate an area on the map and identify the households that are in that area. Generally, there's anywhere up to about 800 households in this SA1. The data collected during a census is then compiled by the Bureau of Statistics and averaged out. The information is then made available via their websites, and you can populate that. And the interesting thing is you can get average age, average income, number of people per household, number of cars per household, all that sort of demographic information. So if you've got a customer that you're aware of his demographic via his SA1, and you've got another customer and their spend patterns are so different, you can then start targeting that other customer to bring their spend patterns up to what you believe is your average customer in that demographic. So they're very useful pieces of information that can be derived from there. And we'll have a quick look at that in a second after this demonstration. The next thing I'd like to show you is our standardization demo. Now, again, this is available on our website. There's a number of options there to look at emails or phone numbers. We're going to use what we call our account name demonstration. This is designed for bringing in bulk data. Generally, we find this useful in financial services industries, banking and so forth, and also in the property area. So the example we're going to give you is a string, and it's Stephen and Elizabeth Cook as trustees for Cook Family Trust, trading as Cook Proprietary Limited. So that's just a string of data that's come in. To most systems, it's meaningless. What we will do to it is use our standardizations tool to identify the elements that are in there. And let's process that to see what the results we get back. So as you can see, we've correctly identified Stephen and Elizabeth as persons. The first name Stephen, spelt that way, is typically that of a male. And the name Elizabeth, spelt in that way, is typically that of a female. So we've enhanced the data a little bit. Then if we go to the bottom of this screen, we can show you that we've also identified two organizations. One is Cook Family Trust, and the other one is Cook Proprietary Limited. And we've identified some relationships between individual one and individual two organization one as trustees for, and a relationship between organization one and organization two as trading as. So breaking that all down, standardizing it, it allows you to import that into your CRM and make use of it if that's what your CRM is set up to do. But we use this mainly for doing our data matching projects, and there's a lot of other information in there to help with those matching capabilities and projects. Okay, let's break from the demos. Again, I encourage you to go look at our website and log in and have a look at them. This is a screenshot from this Bureau of Statistics. They call it Census Quick Stats. We've looked at the Charing Cross SA1 in this instance. And there you can see that you've got the number of people, percentage of male, female, average age, and then it gives you information about the dwellings and incomes, monthly average income, and so forth, and number of cars. And there's a whole host of other information as you drill into this on that website. Encourage you to go and have a look at it if you get a chance. So the outcomes. So what do you get with good data? And I'll just list these again. You get trust in the analytics and better decisions. You get increased productivity, reducing the operating costs. Enhanced customer satisfaction should bring increased revenues. And as noted earlier, the net impact of poor data is 25 to 30% of lost revenue. So if you get back 10, 15, 20% of that, we reckon it will shift your organization into a higher gear. You haven't done anything else to your organization but clean up and address the data issues and use the data more effectively. The first point I'd like to talk about is data quality. Actionable intelligence based on foundations of data quality. Confidence in the decisions process, informed outcomes, reliable and informed decisions. Enhanced organization and brand reputation. Point 2, information quality. You can adding to the profit to the bottom line with tailored messages, marketing campaigns, time to value is shortened, improved customer relations, a competitive advantage leading to increased productivity. Point 3, decision quality. Doing business smarter and faster. Doing it once, doing it right. Delivering more using the same resources and having trust in that data to make those decisions. Point 4, business outcomes. Better outcomes and importantly, compliance with the privacy regulators. And that's becoming more of an issue, if you like. So what do you need to do to ensure accurate data? Well, first you need to recognize that you have bad data. Then you need to get organization buy-in. You need good leadership to do this and senior leadership. You need a clear understanding of the project's goals, where you're going to and how you're going to get there. You need to calculate the cost of bad data in your organization. You need to be able to review the data quality, and Intech can help with that. You need to consult with a data expert, and again, Intech can assist there. And allocate a budget and resources and commit to fix it. So a little bit about Intech. We've spoken primarily about our data parsing and cleansing and standardization capabilities, our address validation and geocoding solutions, and our ability to validate data. The other things that should be of interest is our ability to collect unstructured data and structure it, to provide a data matching capability using probabilistic data matching capabilities, and providing a secure private cloud in which we can host and deploy these solutions for you, which is IRAP assessed and government approved, and a data profile to help you with these projects. So a little bit about Intech. We were founded back in 1996 in Sydney, released our first product about 2 years later. We opened our New Zealand office in 2008 with a warm reception from both government and industry alike. Intech's known for providing data quality solutions for over 20 years, having the first geocoder available in Australia and being the benchmark for other address validation solutions in Australia and New Zealand. We've worked for clients that need to trust the data, credit reference providers, marketing research firms, distribution and shipping companies, large industries such as insurance, banking, and marketing, all who rely on clean data to do their work. Federal and state government departments, the regulators, justice departments, and the revenue offices. And if you've ever received a bushfire or emergency alert in Australia, you're benefiting from one of us Intech's data quality solutions that enables those messages to be delivered to every household in the country. If you've used government statistics, they've been processed with the ABS geocoder to verify and enhance all addresses in Australia for statistical analysis. If you've been a university student or graduate, you have a USI number, Universal Student Identifier. This is to ensure all students are recognized for their academic achievements, and we do this both in Australia and New Zealand. For the past couple of years, we've been working with social services to deliver targeted programs and also working with the Department of Health, state and federal, for the analysis and helping identify trends and investments. And our specialty is helping data-dependent projects meet their objectives with transparent and tested solutions. So key to IQ Office is it's built for integration. It's an API-based application and will link to most, if not all, of the popular CRMs and ERPs and other client-facing applications. We have sample code, we have an API guide. Happy to share that with you if you'd like to have a look at it. So what value can Intech offer? Well, we can deliver projects that are with tested and proven processes, so reducing the risk. We bring 20 years of experience to the table. We can offer cloud and on-premise licensing, so large and small customers can benefit from scalable solutions. And our clients really are our best salespeople. Very happy customers, really good references. With Intech, we can work with you to profile the data, provide an evaluation of the technology, test your assumptions with it, and obviously work with your current systems. I mentioned at the beginning, Intech had a gift for you, and we're offering to do some analysis of data. So send us your good, your bad, and your ugly data. No more than 10,000 records for this test. We're looking for address information. And there should be a pop-up coming up onto your screen. Please fill that in or contact us at one of the email addresses, and we'll organize to have a look at your data. So what I'd like to do now is invite Daniel to join us, and we can go through the questions that have been asked. So Daniel, which question would you like to have a go at first?
So someone's asked, is this a cloud service? So the answer is it can be either cloud service or on-premise. It's very much a question for your environment, your architecture, and your preference more than anything. Many customers have their own data compliance conditions that preference it being on-premise, although as Phil actually suggested through his presentation, we do have IRAP assessed cloud services, which can hold data of sensitive natures. So either is an option. So it really is a question for architecture. Let me just see what else is coming up. Someone's asked, how can your software help me geocode when I have an incomplete address record? Has been asked. So yeah, focusing on addresses and showing things like SA1s. At the end of the day, for an address itself, having an incomplete address can't complete the address automatically. But what it can do is where it comes to some of these boundary codes and the analytics and the intelligence side of what you're trying to do downstream is probably the real question here. And what IQ Office can do for you is go through a process that we call dump coding on addresses. So that means where the address is potentially ambiguous, could be in a range of addresses in a street, we will use an internal aggregation to identify where those boundaries that you're interested in are actually still unique, or you can configure it to, if you're allowing some level of tolerance, maybe if 80% of those addresses that were part of that ambiguous cohort were going to provide the same result set, then that's the result set we can return back to you to then use. So it means even given incomplete addressing, potentially ranged house numbers or invalid house numbers, you can still quite often get values and details such as SA1s or government boundaries to then use downstream for your marketing or for your analytics or further processing. Can Intech help with the setup? Yeah, more definitely. We're quite happy to. We do provide a full API. We provide examples of using the API. We have examples in many languages for integration purposes, and our help desk team are very capable of answering questions. We're also happy to engage with your business analysts and your developers directly, or get involved and assist with that integration if that's if that's what you'd like us to do. Yeah, Phil, do you want to add anything there, or is that
No, I think you've pretty much covered it. As I said, we can share with you our API guide. As Daniel mentioned, it's got some sample code in it and various options. And, you know, there are integrations that have been done with Salesforce, with Dynamics. So a lot of it's out of the box. I don't think we'll see much customization. And, you know, there are some 150 user sites out there with various integrations that are both unique and pretty standard.
I just actually like to add as part of that is you know, there's not really a, I mean, I kind of see there's not necessarily a one size fits all when it comes to how to handle some of these data issues, and as part of our configuration, well, our software is very configurable, I should say. So there are every site can have, you know, slight variations of what's important to them. And what your challenge points are in how you're collecting data, and they're things that can be adjusted, and I think that's very important to, you know, to kind of call out, because it's you know, it's about getting the data fit for purpose. You know, some customers, obviously, if you're capturing addresses for matching purposes, you'd probably be better to do things like take the data as the gazetted locality names. If you're going to use that for mail purposes, where it goes back out in an envelope, you want to maintain those addresses with vanity locality names. So they're all factors to consider when you go through this process of collecting data and configuring software products.
Here, just wondering if there's any other questions that have come in.
It probably covers things off. That you want to add a question or throw something to me, Phil?
No, I think we've covered most of it. As noted through the presentation, we're available if you have any other questions. If you'd like to do an evaluation of the product, we can organize that. The product is able to be run on Windows. It can run on Linux and Unix servers. And again, you can run it through the cloud services that we have. So one question we had, which just popped in, was about overseas addresses. We have access to a whole range of different reference data. On the web service, we offer out of the box a range of reference data from Australia, New Zealand, both postal and geocoded, for the UK, US, Singapore, and if you have a place you'd like us to look at, we're more than happy to have a look at that. So yeah, we can do a variety of different overseas addresses, and we have a number of clients that use us to do specifically that. We even have some partners in the UK that use us in that regard as well. So we're not an international company. We're mainly based in Australia and New Zealand, but we can handle the variety of different data sets as they are required. All right. Well, look.
I was just saying, someone's just sent in another question. I'll just jump in. So someone's asked about privacy, modern privacy, with regard to our web service. So the data you're providing via the web service and APIs, none of your input data is stored on our servers. It's directly processed and fed back. So it's all done via HTTPS communication channels. So it fully complies with the modern privacy issues.
All right. Well,
back to you, Phil.
I'd like to thank everyone for attending today's webinar. And I hope you got some value out of it. Again, please do get back in touch with us if you'd like to explore any ideas with us. And we'll look forward to running another one of these in the near future, and hoping to see you again soon. So thank you all for your attendance today, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, moderator. Appreciate your help.